Hello everyone, I'm Rahmadinasari. I'm first speaker from Government. I will explain today's motion is this house believe that lockdown effective stop pandemic spread in Indonesia. As we can see right now, the condition in our country, especially health, increase because before lockdown, there are so much randomly human who get the coronavirus, so that the government make a rules lockdown for stop pandemic spread. After public awareness for the dangers of COVID-19, government to ask people to do self-quarantine. After the coronavirus test was carried out of infected people, the government began to take a step isolation the infected people in special place such as hospital, but this was still not effective. So lockdown measures were taken. So our government make a lockdown. Define lockdown is application to closing the area who movement of people both entering and leaving the area for certain urgent purpose. Lockdown because COVID-19 is purposed to prohibiting people from entering an area due to the spread of virus that are easily transmitted through humans. Background: our government country do lockdown because the government already gave steps to reduce COVID spread. Limitation: the government do lockdown in Indonesia to limit COVID spread, and also lockdown is in Indonesia and region Indonesia. For example, is lockdown from Japan can make the graphic of COVID is decreased and make graphic of healing people increase. PI: there is some people not obey the government rules, which is entering and leaving the country. PI solution: our government do lockdown because there is an exception is allowed from the government. Our government do lockdown, they are do that with an exception to allow who other people come to our country for urgent things. So the lockdown can to be good solution because can minimize COVID spread in our country. The goals of this motion is to stop pandemic spread and make society to be safe better than. The government give a little benefit because from many steps they do not give big impact for our country, especially Indonesia country. Why we think like that? Because example, PSBB, PPKM didn't have a strong regulation. The goals of lockdown is to stop mobility of society and do lockdown with country limitation and profits limitation, setting of a lockdown with a country pearls and also waging a lockdown in the province of the country itself. And come to my argument, as we can see, the coronavirus make our health to be bad because this virus have purpose make increase of our healthy. So with this motion, we must to use anything in our life be better because we know this pandemic can hamper our social life. This point will be explained of my second speaker.
Okay everyone, my name is Nazira Amdani. I am a second speaker for government team. Come to my argument. The importance of lockdown itself, for example, like minimize the interaction of each other. When people interaction with each other, so the virus from that body will move or spread to others. And it can the virus story to others and the healthy will decrease, so that government have on important and they make lockdown. Lockdown is a responsibility from government. The government has a responsibility for the lives of society during the lockdown. Therefore, government making a contribution of lockdown for survival. Lockdown is more effective than PSBB, PPKM. PSBB, PPKM is like the government take a hand off about pandemic spread. PSBB and PPKM actively just in Bali and Java, but not active in Sumatra, Kalimantan, and anymore. So the lockdown is the first priority of government to handle. The government should make lockdown the first choice during a pandemic. With lockdown being the first choice, it can reduce cases that occur from the start. Policies need during the pandemic to overcome the space for community interaction. If there is no lockdown, many people will be infected. The reason is that some health facilities will be overwhelmed if the number of patients suspected of being infected with the coronavirus increases drastically. The lockdown policy is simple a ban, so that people who work at home are enough. If this pandemic develops, such as a serious spread, it will have an impact on the inadequate national health infrastructure. Public have to obey the limit of the social mobility in order to the virus spread can minimize. For example, the student, college student, or worker who work outside must be stay at home. Not only people who have the need for outside activities, but also limit mobility to things that are not important. If social mobility goes well, the lockdown will run better and the goal of the lockdown will be achieved. Public have to stay at home when they have to school or work. It's for minimize the spread of virus. The society have to limit their mobility, even though the mobility is limited. It's not that the society cannot survive or live. Instead, we use the technology we got to develop technology be better. One of them is e-commerce are becoming popular. For example, is UMKM to be open about technology, which is we are in digital business, can able even though it's pandemic. For example, imagine like if you sell the goods at traditional market, which is you are not stay at home, you can make decrease of social mobility. It can make public and it can make people gathering so that virus spread always happen. So that the use of technology is needed. People are required to have the ability in the find of technology so that they can use the technology to help their social life. Because of this of stay at home, the development of technology will decrease and improve. Because lockdown limit our activity so that we can use e-commerce. The profit of e-commerce is real easier our goods to bought by buyers. Remain that society stay at home. They try to make an innovative and creative things so that the interesting of society will good and it can easier for society to buy just and technology. Indicating that actively to stop spread. Lockdown can actively to stop spread virus in Indonesia because lockdown limit the activity of society. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is THBT and I'm the third speaker of the government. And also, this is my argument, or this is the argument from my friends. The first argument is health of society is the one of priority in lockdown. Why government do lockdown? Because government wants to stop pandemic itself. Not every people from outside country have a healthy body, so that government make a lockdown. The healthy of human can have so many impact for the country itself, because the viruses itself can make the body's health of someone's decrease. Lockdown can make a health of society will good, because lockdown limit the activity from outside and inside. Also, the limit active also it is can the limit of the society itself, so that lockdown can decrease of pandemic spread, which is have so many impact in it. For example, and also there is we don't know people who get COVID, so the government use a lockdown itself. And also, the importance of lockdown itself, it really important. Why? Because it can minimize the interaction of the many human or society, and it also minimize the spread of virus. And lockdown is responsible of government more than PSBB, PPKM, and many more, because the PSBB and PPKM it really important, but the important things or priority things is lockdown. And the second argument is mobility of society or society's mobility. Lockdown can effectively stop if mobility of society is minimized. Minimize mobility is not like you cannot have a job or can have an impact for yourself, but it stops spread of pandemic. So that minimize of mobility society can make a lockdown totally lockdown. It cause people not gather each other and know the impact of gather each other, and they think they are will get the COVID, so the pandemic will always happen and always spread the COVID. For example, like you can imagine when we gather each other of society, it can maximize of spread COVID-19. When this person not obey to stay at home, which minimize society mobility, they can spread the virus that they got. And also, when this person gathered, they group will get the virus. So we say this spread of pandemic. But when this person stay at home and minimize the society mobility, it can effectively stop pandemic spread, which is stay at home is one of the lockdown things. So people just in it. It's not adding people out of Indonesia, but just in it. So the mobility of society is just that. And also, improve with stay at home and quarantine time. It's effectively stop pandemic spread because the person not spread the virus to others because they just in a home. They just a quarantine, not spread to others. When stay at home, you can stop pandemic spread. But not just that, you can have an entertainment or you can use e-commerce. When you bored because it stay at home, and you can maximize use technology for e-commerce things, so that when people who need to sell their goods just use online shop, because Indonesia, especially in this new era, use technology. For example, you need to sell your goods like t-shirt and many more, but you cannot sell it in traditional market or anything market in offline, but because the government set the lockdown, so that technology, especially e-commerce, can make easier for anyone who have to buy the goods or things that. So this is the importance of lockdown itself. It can make the pandemic spread its limit and also stop the pandemic spread because we just stay at home, not interact with any people. Thank you.
Okay, to conclusion statement is my first speaker from government say about healthy. Yeah, we are say about lockdown. And then my second speaker say about lockdown is more priority because so the lockdown is the first priority for of government to handle. The government should make lockdown the first choice during a pandemic. With lockdown being the first choice, it can reduce cases that occur from the start. The use of technology is needed. People are required to have the ability in the field of technology so that they can use the technology to their social life. And my third speaker say about health of society in the one of priority in lockdown. Why government do lockdown? Because government want to stop the pandemic. Not every people from outside country have a healthy body, so that government make a lockdown. The healthy of human can have that impact, so many impact for the country itself, because the virus itself can make the body's health of someone decrease. Lockdown can make a healthy of society will good, because lockdown limit the activity from outside or inside, and also limit the activity of society itself so that lockdown can decrease a pandemic spread which is have so many impact in it, for example. And also there is, we don't know people who get cold, so government make a lockdown. So we are stand with your motion today is this house believe that the lockdown effective stop pandemic spread in Indonesia. Okay, thank you for your attention.